Bonjour, Mr. Legacy.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Holding up, as you do.
Yeah,
Keeping
yeah,
busy.
yeah. It's been a mad past year, eh?
Oh, you could say so.
What's Give me the rundown of what's been happening with the events business for the past 12 months.
Oh, we're starting now, straight away. We're going straight in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, with the events business. Oh, okay, where to start? Am I allowed to swear?
Carry on.
The fucking shit show.
Mm. Yeah.
To say the least. It's been that's the only way I can describe it, and that's being nice.
Yeah.
It's from a promoter's point of view, it's been absolutely awful because we had events planned and we cancel them, and people are obviously understanding, and we completely understand from a promoter's point of view. People want their money back. We're completely fine with that. It's no problem.
Mm.
But if we have to keep refunding tickets throughout the year, my issue has been is giving people false hope with new dates.
Yeah.
So, for example, with the Hard Kingdom date, that's to be announced hopefully next week. But we've had that date now for about 4 months, and people have been asking for it and asking for it and asking for it, and we've just been having to say no, because if we put the tickets out again on a new date and we're only releasing the date if we're 100% sure,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't want to have to go through the whole process again of refunding, wasting money on marketing, because all the money we spent on artwork, marketing, I might as well just set it on fire and burn it. That's what it's like. So this time we're hopefully making sure we're 100%, and we're obviously the government announcement, I think it was on Monday. We feel like this is a good point now to announce it, but it's just been like a long break. I looked at the company's spreadsheets for the first time in a while, and I looked at it and I was like, what the fuck does this mean? And I was like, when you've not looked at something for so long and you're just like, how do I run an event? It was sort of like that. It was literally, I was just sat there going, what?
Yeah.
and you're there like trying to remember all the stuff you got to do, and it's been a nice break. It's been good time to think, but I'm 100% ready to get back into it now.
That's it. I mean, you've not been promoting for too long. You've not been around as long as like some of the other guys that are a lot older than us that have been doing it for years. So you're kind of just getting into the swing of things, and you were getting into it with some real big events. And then it was the same with me. I had my first big gig a couple months before everything shut down at Ministry. And, I was just getting to that point where I was going to be on a roll. And then all of a sudden, this just sort of slams us like a brick wall. And it's a real pain in the ass because there's nothing we could have done about it.
Yeah, it's one of them. And as you say, we're a new promoter, well, events company, shall we say.
Yeah.
And it was one of them. The first event went off with such a big bang. Now, I believe, right, before I choose the lineup, I think about stage design. I think, how am I going to make this event memorable? So the lineup normally always comes last for me. For me, it's all about, I want people to enter that building and completely forget about everything that's going on in life for one night. That's how I plan my events. The lineup comes second.
Yeah.
And that's what I've missed the most, coming up with new creative ideas. And throughout lockdown, I've just been writing them down for events. Like I always say, my ideas come when I'm most sleep deprived. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll be like, that's a good idea for an event, a good new concept. I'll write it down. So that's pretty much all I've been doing for the last year, just coming up with new event concepts. But as you say, we had so much stuff planned, and all it will take to get them started is one email saying we're a go. But there's so much stuff we have planned, and we just couldn't do it. And it was just one of them.
It's really heartbreaking because, like you say, it's almost like you get your foot in the door and you're just about to kick things off. The party's just about to start, and then bang, the electric cuts out, everything cuts out. It just goes all tits up goes wrong, and that's the most frustrating thing for me. Is like I say, I can deal with something if I've messed up because I can take responsibility. I can learn from what I've done wrong, and make sure I make adjustments going forward so it doesn't happen again. With this was completely out of our control, and it weren't even just a case like, you could just stop the event from whenever it happened and put it back a couple months. Like, we've been at this for the best part of a year now. And if they do, let events carry on in June, then it would have been almost a year and a half. So it's been very difficult. I mean, one thing I want to sort of ask you, obviously I asked a lot of DJs and, producers and whatnot, and that's what I have on the show. But I did want to get you on to sort of get a different point of view from, the promoter side. Is how have you sort of been able to cope with the, the mental struggles of, getting along with this and trying to, keep as positive as possible?
Yeah, definitely. I've done a lot of these things, and mental health has always been a topic of every single one I've done. Now, I myself, many people won't know this, but I had an extremely low time in my life. I was at the lowest of my low. I lost what I was doing, and it was one of them. It was just, I just literally, you couldn't imagine where I was, and I literally just sat there one morning going, I need something to get me out of bed. And that's how Kingdom Events was created. It was sort of a distraction at the start. It was like, get this, get this. So Kingdom Events to me is like it's like my savior. It's like my baby. And it was going so well. And then this happened, and I was just there like, no, this is not happening. Because I knew that I didn't know how long this would last for, 10 years, 2 years, 6 months, and throughout this entire thing, my goal has been not to let my baby disappear. So I've done everything in my power, but it's been extremely hard. I've had people tell me to sell the company. There's been buyers, people have been telling me to do all sorts of stuff, but I would rather let this company turn to the ground and me go with it. I know it sounds dead, but I am not letting this thing go like there's no tomorrow. And I know there's a lot of promoters out there that would do the exact same, but it's been a horrible time because luckily I am an artist manager as well. So I've had a lot of time. I've been flying out to the Netherlands for meetings. I've got 2 great artists that I work with. So I've been busy. If I didn't have that, God knows where I would be now. Because my one worry is I don't want to slip. My biggest worry at the current moment, well, in life, my whole life will be I don't want to slip to where I was beforehand. And just I, customers, I love my customers. They're great people, and I understand when we delay events. It's one of the worst things that can happen because you're looking forward to it. You've probably waited all year for this event or whatever it is. Your favorite headliner is on there, but it's just the same for us as promoters. We feel your pain as well because we put a lot of effort into these events, and we hate to see them cancelled, and we hate to see the people that we like to entertain feel down about it. So it hits us as well, and we just always try and keep everyone happy and healthy, but at the same time, you got to remember we've got to keep our staff happy as well. That's the way I see it. It's been a rough time, shall we say? But it looks like we're towards the end of it. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm a glass half full type of guy now.
Yeah.
But I'm liking what I'm seeing everywhere. Pretty much, it has been extremely mentally draining. Pretty much.
I know exactly where you're coming from because I didn't do very well in school, and so when I turned 16, I did an apprenticeship. That didn't go particularly well. So when I turned 17, I packed that in, and all I've ever wanted to do is be able to make something of my own and be proud of myself, because I was never be able to be proud of myself in school because I was crap academically. So I'd done a year's worth of gardening apprenticeship. So I decided, okay, let's start a gardening business. And everyone said at 17, starting a business at 17, like what?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I mean, despite what some people around me possibly think about me, for the first 2-3 years, I made next to nothing. From 17, 18, 19 up until I was about 20, I hardly made any money, and any money I did make just went back into like buying my products and stuff. But I would not let this go. It's literally, as you've said, it is my baby. It's everything I've worked for, and I care about it almost more than anything, because it's the number one thing that has allowed me to be sat here with you tonight, having done DJing and gigs and all this, because I couldn't have funded any of this stuff without that. And like you say, again, with my music, I'm very similar, like you say, glass half full kind of guy, where if I've got a goal in mind, I will get there no matter what. And a lot of people used to say to me, like, how the hell did you get into ministry and all these things? Like, some people would think, oh, you're just kissing ass or whatever. No, it's just a case of I've constantly gone there. I've constantly spent tons of time around there. Because at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. You want to be around whatever you want to be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you want to become a big muscly guy, you want to be heading to the gym every day and being around the big guys and learning from what they're doing. And so that's what I did. But yeah, going back to what you were saying about your company being your baby, I fully understand and respect that, because I know what it takes to, there's so much that people don't think about. They just think the surface, they just see the brand name, Kingdom Events. They know that you are the guy that runs it. That's all they see.
Yeah.
He puts an event on one night and that's all that's done. They don't know about the shitload of work that comes in hand before, the amount of hours you've got to put in preparation. It's insane.
One thing many people won't understand about creating events is 9 times out of 10, for example, the first Hard Kingdom back in December of 2019, 29, that seems so long ago now. 2019 was actually, the idea first came to mind of February of that year. So that's 10 months of work to get that for 7 hours, from 10 till not wherever long we open, for literally a few hours of a night. 10 months worth of work. And I won't lie, that event lost thousands of pounds. Thousands. But you know what? I wasn't bothered by it. I couldn't walk into that. I couldn't walk into the first event. We had a great turnout. It was absolutely amazing night. But the way I thought about that first night is, we've got to make our mark. So straight from the start, I was happy to lose thousands of pounds, just on the basis of, you know what, it's like a first hoorah. If people see the first event and it's all not perfect, but all trying to find the phrase for it, but it
goes well.
Yeah, it's one of them. Sorry, I'm just being shouted. 1 sec.
I lost him briefly.
I'm on the call. Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. I told her, and I was I've got the podcast this evening. I told her, I even before I came up the stairs, I was like, between this time and this time, you're not bothered.
It's all good, bro. It's not the first time.
So that was, but yeah. So yeah, I wanted the event to be all happy and shining. I wanted you to walk in there and see. One thing I've noticed a lot about a lot of UK events. Anyway, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for saying this from a lot of promoters, but I'll say it. I've noticed that nowadays people don't just go to events for the music. They go for the production. That's all now a big part. For example, probably one of the reasons Tomorrowland is so successful in EDC.
Yeah.
When you go to them, it's like stepping into a different world, as I mentioned, and that's what I wanted. So that we spent so much money on the pyro, the stage, the everything that is visually pleasing. And, you know, I did that just on the basis of if one person leaves this event and goes, that's fucking cool, then, you know, that's one person that could tell their friends. So I was completely fine making a loss on the first event, and I'll be fine making a loss on the next two, next three. You know, eventually time will tell. You know, I'm not giving in.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you say, the amount of people that I had when I started my business, you know, 17, 18, 19, that was telling me, I mean, A, I'm young, but B, I haven't got much behind me, you know, school wise anyway. So they're telling me, just stop it, just get a job, just do something. Don't do it. It's so hard. You're not going to be able to. Just ignore it all, honestly, mate. Because at the end of the day, if you want it, you will get it. You will get it. No matter what people say, you will. It's just it's as simple as that. You're dedicated to what you want to do. You've got an objective in mind. There's a goal. You know, there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. You're aiming for it. You can get to it easily. It's more than achievable. I don't know why in society there's so many people that have a very negative mindset to things where they're just like, oh, just, you know, I'll let someone else do it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm a strong. All my life growing up, it's even all my life growing up from family members to people. People have told me I can't do this because before I did any of this, I was on Team GB as a
Yeah,
para,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and that was going on during I got professional round about GCSE through GCSE through to the end of A level. So I tunnel visioned the Paralympics because that what was earning me a lot of money at the time. It was like I don't need education, you know, throw it out the window.
Mm.
And then that was one of the reasons I got more down. So I left sport. One of the reasons I was really down was because I was thinking to myself, hold on, I've just left the thing that was making me money,
Mm.
and now I've got nothing. And then, but at that time, I had started touring. So I'd started touring with artists, working festivals, working like on like Daddy Knows in Amsterdam, Creamfields, Perukaville, EDC Vegas. I started all that. And it was from that I came up with the idea. Hold on, I go to like 7, 8 festivals a month with work. I was like, why don't I just create my own event? And when I finally got home from the touring, and I cast the idea to my parents first, they were like, no, that's a bad idea. And I used to always get told it and told it. And one thing I also believe is that people care too much about other people's opinions. Like if someone has a dream and then just say your friend at the pub goes, oh, that shit, that there's a chance that person will just sit there and go, maybe, yeah, maybe he's got a point. But you will never know unless you give it a go. You know, he may say it's shit, but in your head, it could be the greatest idea you've ever had in your entire life. You know, and just go ahead and do that, no matter what people say. No matter if you're Elon Musk or you're a startup company, you know, you're gonna get hate all along your career, and it's about filtering that out and just doing what you want to do.
Mm.
That's what I believe in.
I love that, mate. I really do wish that more people had that attitude. I think, thankfully, for the most part, people in our industry, like I say, for the most part, obviously there is the odd ones out. I think most people in our industry do have this mentality where it's a glass half full, and you have to be, because it is a real tough one. It's a real tough one, you know, to get anywhere with it, and you've really got to persevere. But what I want to get people to sort of understand is the man behind Kingdom Events, the man behind you know, all these events. So how did you actually get into, because I believe, was it managing you got into first and then the events?
Yeah.
How did you start with that?
So funny enough, when I was 18, I did a little bit of videography, and I got a text message one day from a friend of mine going, would you be able to film this guy that was performing at Don't Let Daddy Know in Manchester? And I said, because I always at the time I wanted to be a videographer, for like festivals and that. So I said, yeah, first big festival, you know. And the DJ was on first. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to go home. I'm just going to stand by the side of the stage and I'm just going to watch. I'm going to observe. I'm going to see what goes on. I want to see the big tour manager. I wasn't bothered in the big artists. I was more bothered about what their crew was doing, how they interacted. And then it was getting towards the end of the night. And as you know, I don't let Daddy know, the later the night goes, the higher the BPM goes. Yes. So I was bored. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I just went up to the side of the stage. And there was a certain hardstyle DJ on stage. And I holded my camera up, and his tour manager was like, yeah, sure. So I walk on stage, I'm filming this dude. And at that point, I'd never really listened to hardstyle. And I'm just there dancing about, filming him. And I go to give him my number, and he goes, yeah, text me the video clips and that. And so I give it him. And then I thought, you know what? I saw his job, and I was like, oh my fucking God, I want to do that. So me being the person I am, I went out, and I thought the only way to learn is to throw yourself in the deep end. So I went out and found small artists and started doing little bits of management work for them. You know, like just sending the odd email. I was learning on the job. I know I was really bad at the start. I was hands up, but I was willing to give it everything I've got. So I wanted the good job. And one day I needed some help with an artist. So I remembered I had that dude. He was a tour manager, not a manager. And I sent him a message. I was going, do you have any advice on this? And he said, yeah. And by then we just became great friends. And I got more into the hardstyle world. And I learned and I learned. I went through artists. But one thing I did was I never dragged an artist along. If I knew I'd reached my knowledge base with a certain artist, I would tell that artist, I was like, I can't take you any further. I was like, because I don't want to slow down your career just because I don't have the knowledge to take you further. And I felt that was an important point for any manager starting off. Never drag an artist through with you. Absolutely. You don't have the knowledge. But if anyone out there is looking for a manager, one thing I'll recommend is find a new manager in the scene, because they will dedicate every hour of every day to you because they're trying to prove themselves. You know, you'll always find the well-established managers, you know, they've already proved themselves in the past. So in some cases, if you're a really small artist, you might not put as much time into you. Same with agents. But I did that. And then I basically worked my way up through the artists. Bigger followings, bigger listeners, learning, reading so many books, you know.
And what time frame was this? So you started this, the first sort of light bulb moment was at this Don't Let Daddy Know. When was this?
Oh God. Probably about, I don't know, 4, 5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
4, 5 years ago. And I didn't ask for any money at the start. I didn't ask for anything because I didn't want to pay for someone charge for something, you know, at the start. Someone could probably get a lot better. You know, I was happy doing it free. And over time, I just worked my way up. I built my contacts. I stayed in the hardstyle scene. And I at the current moment in time, I manage Cephx.
Yeah.
And I manage J Reeves, 2 amazing artists, top of their game, top of their. Now, if you would have asked me, obviously I'm going to say top of the game because I'm their manager, but they are amazing. Check them out on Spotify. But
I've been a big fan of Cephx for about 6 years because I started listening to stuff on Hardwell on Air. I was like, oh my God.
Yes, he is. I absolutely love the dude. He's an amazing guy. Best good friend of mine now as well. One thing I always find in my management style, I'm a friend before I'm a manager. But you also need to know the difference, where to break it up.
Yeah.
So you need to know when not to be the friend and when to be business minded. But after that, I grew and I became them, and I built my contacts, and hopefully I've cemented my voice now in the management and the business side of hardstyle and management. But that's where that came from, and the tour management side of things just sort of went hand in hand. It was. I also, because that's originally what I wanted to do, tour management. So I would do shows. I would also find shows for people to bring in extra money. I grew connections with Pasha out of all places. God knows how I did that, but you know, God knows. Especially, so I got people shows at Pasha and all over the show, and that went on. And then a friend of mine said, why didn't you become a manager? So that's where the management side of things came into play. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And my friend was like, I'll guide you. And that's how that sort of started off, really. And then obviously Kingdom was born. I used to go to a lot of events, and I used to go to these events, and I remember when I was younger, when I was like 16, I would fake pretend to try and put events on. Like, yeah, I would like plan stuff out. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like looking at the cost of crowd barriers, not knowing the venue provided crowd barriers. You know,
So
stuff.
even back then, you was thinking about it.
Oh yeah, me and my brother back in the day, finding an old abandoned warehouse and doing an illegal rave. You know, that's literally when it started when I was like 16. Because I went to I think my first ever rave in the nightclub when I was 16, and you know, every now and again a promoter will put on an event where it's like any 16 and plus can go.
Yeah.
So me and my friends went, and it was at the Ritz in Manchester, famous Ritz.
Bloody hell.
And we went, and I walked into this room for my first ever time, and it was just like my eyes just blew up. And I was watching the DJ, and I was watching the production, and I was watching the lights, and I was just like, and I was looking around the room and going, people are having so much fun. And that's sort of how it started. Really from that night.
Is there something about hardstyle that does it for you where, say, for example, if that night at Don't Let Daddy Know, the guy on stage was playing house or techno, do you think you would have had the passion for what you're doing now that you do if it was for some other genre?
You know, if it wasn't for that guy I met at Don't Let Daddy Know, I wouldn't be where I am right now. You know, he's helped me so much. I won't say his name because he's quite a big dog, but he's if it wasn't for him, I would definitely not been where I am today. And you know, me now as a tour manager, when I'm on stage, and well, when I'm playing Candy Crush, sat on behind the DJ, we're waiting for him to give me the signal either the decks are broke or a glass of water, please. That's really all we do while we're on stage.
Yeah.
Like, as a tour manager, our job is the artist's number one safety. That's how I plan it. And I'm like a different person when I'm touring. If you mess me about, if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. And I don't care if you're Tomorrowland. I don't care if you're just a local club in the corner. If you follow the contract and you do everything properly by code, we will be the best of friends. You fuck me about, yeah, that I'm one of them tour managers. I'm either the friendliest tour manager you'll meet or your worst nightmare. But but the hard style, you know, I think I said a lie before. I think that wasn't the first time I heard it. I think the first time I heard it was that same year at Don't Let Daddy Know in Amsterdam. I always wanted to go to one of these big international events. So one day I just woke up and booked this. I went on my own to Amsterdam ADE, Don't Let Daddy Know, sorry. And I literally stood in the crowd and I saw how the Dutch do it. And I was like the stage like wrapped around the roof. Like, you know, it was just, you walked in there and you were like, holy. And I was like, I want this, you know, I want to bring this to the UK, you know, because if you look at like Creamfield, they've not changed the stages for like the last 5 years.
No.
You know, the Arc stage, like, and it was, but with hardstyle, it's, you know, I won't listen to hardstyle if I'm just sat in my room. Occasionally, if I need a boost. Normally, I'm a tropical house, liquid drum and bass guy. But the thing with hardstyle is family and the people behind it, then the fans, they're just amazing people. And that's why I love the genre so much. I love the music as well, but it's definitely not my wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and turn it on. But the people behind it, and even the business end of it, it's so small because it's still a semi-small genre. It's on the rise. So because everyone knows everyone, everyone's friendly with each other. If you do bad, you know, your entire reputation's destroyed because the community is that small. But yeah, I don't know if it would have played any different, really. Probably I would have gone home, really. But I've always been a fan of big room. So hardstyle's like the next step up. So I was there tired out my head and I just got like this energy rush. And I was like, holy fuck. I was like, I'm gonna go film this. I gotta film this. That's how that sort of came.
So obviously Kingdom was your sort of first baby, but now you've had the offshoot of Timeless. So tell us where Timeless came from.
Timeless. That originally, Timeless was meant to be a 90s night. Yeah, it was originally meant to be a 90s night, like Army Van Halen type of music. Yeah, it was because I saw, obviously you have a JBM Music. I love them guys. I love George. I love everyone there. They do their 90s Babies Night. And that is such a cool concept. I got to give it to them. They have reached out to markets in the scene. People forget raving is not just a young folks thing, okay? The 90s is where it started, the 80s, you know? And there are thousands of people that are just itching to go out to rave. But today's generation of music just doesn't suit them, you know? And there's not enough events out there that cater for them.
Yeah.
So that's where the idea came from. I'm a big fan of Armin van Helden and his music and music like that. I can happily listen to that all day. Yeah. So I was going to do that, and that was the original concept for it. And then one day, I honestly don't know why it changed. I honestly don't know. I think one day I just saw Mike Williams performing somewhere. I was, oh, I'm not going to tell that story. I was at ADE, and I was with Kashmir and his entourage. For a friend of mine, he basically took us out and we spent the night with Kashmir, going to all the clubs and thingy. And one of the clubs we went to was Mike Williams' party at ADE. We went up. Obviously, I've listened to his music a lot, and he was on stage, and I was just watching him, and I was like, you know what? He might be a good guy to book. So, but I completely forgot about that, and I came home and I heard one of his tracks on One World Radio, and I was like, you know what? We'll reach out to his agent, and I was thinking, do I create a whole new brand after I've got this artwork, or do I just? Because hence the Timeless Harmony was sort of the timeless, as in 80s, 90s, you know, that's where the original name came from. And with the clock, you know, going back in time.
Yeah.
But that's where Timeless came from. And it's sort of the issue we have with Timeless is everyone who's on the Kingdom page is hardstyle. You know, the 1,000 and odd likes that are on the page are all hardstyle people. So it's almost like starting a new company, a new brand. Because, you know, people moan when we post Timeless Harmony on the Kingdom, but what people don't understand is you got to think of it like a tree. So Kingdom at the top, and you got Card Kingdom, you got Timeless Harmony, you know, and they're both under the same sort of umbrella. And it's about finding them people. And when we had to reschedule the date, I was looking for a date. I remember always at the start, I was like, you know what would sell out an event? A Freshers event. Because I was just sat there, and my sister was talking about universities at the time, and she talked about Freshers and how she's going to get so drunk. I just thought to myself, I was like, can you just Google when Freshers Week is in Liverpool?
Yeah, yeah.
And I Googled it and I saw that it's over a Saturday, and I was like straight on the phone to the venue. I was like, please, for the love of Jesus Christ, tell me this date is available. He was like, the whole week's free. I was like, I'll have Saturday. Right? But then creates a whole new issue is I've never dealt with freshers before. You know, I've never dealt with students. So it's I've sort of been like, yes, but then I feel myself in so you're constantly learning, you know. It's marketing is such a big part of it. And it's, you know, with students open so many different doors. You got like the student magazines, you got this Freshers Week Fair, you know, you've got so much stuff now we have to cater for, and it's like, and at the time I'm like, oh shit, shouldn't have chose Freshers. But at the same time, I know that if we can get the name out there in Liverpool, so that we bring a DJ mag top 100 DJ to their city. So at the moment, I don't think there's any other huge DJs in Liverpool, not that I've seen anyway. Um, So we can do a big party and then get the idea, yes, we throw parties like this. Hopefully then students will be like, oh shit, there's another Timeless Harmony event on, you know? With Timeless Harmony, we won't book. My concept in my head is, if you're not on the DJ Mag Top 100, you're not coming. You know, the headliner. That's how I see it.
Mm. Yeah, I think a really interesting sort of challenge for yourself, and obviously all other promoters out there, but I think this will be probably best posed to yourself as you're doing an event on a Freshers weekend in particular,
Yeah.
is trying to get the new generation. So I'm talking, obviously, I'm 22 now, so 18, 19-year-olds that are just sort of going out, getting them into the dance music scene. Because at the moment, if you look for the past, well, probably best part of 10 years, almost all clubs around the country, if you go to a freshers night out anywhere, any town, city in the country, it's always going to be your generic pop world fever type clubs where they're playing, you know, your generic
don't
pop.
don't hate on Pop World. I love a good cheesy 80s.
I can't stand that place.
I love a good disco folk singing "Come on, Eileen" with me hands in the air with two pints in both one.
I can't stand that damn place. It's the bane of me. But but this is what I mean. I think like there is nowhere near enough clubs out there providing dance music for Freshers Week, and also just for university students in general. If you want to go and see a dance, you know, artist or any type of dance music related event, you've got to go out of your way to go to an event like Victoria Warehouse, or go down to London, or actual places that have got events on, rather than just being able to go to your local place and have a rave, so to speak. So this would be interesting, because if you can get this ball rolling, mate, you could set the scene for the country.
That's my plan. I look at London. I look at Ministry of Sound, the Gallery, you know, Milkshake, all the guys down there, and I go, you guys are doing it right. I'm like, you guys, you know, you've got the big DJs coming twice a month. You know how, I don't know how often it is, but every night there is just amazing. Despite the time that I nearly had to break my bank account for free vodka and cokes. So I was like, the rider hadn't come yet. I was with an artist of industry. The rider hadn't come yet because I was just there doing sound check and all that rubbish. So I'll go get a drink, and the dude was like, "Yeah, that'll be like 35 quid." I was like, I will wait for the free alcohol. I will."
That's for like a double vodka lemonade, guys. That's not anything special.
I was like, I will wait. But I look at them, and then I look at Manchester. Now, Manchester is a unique scene. We're very indie. Same with Liverpool. Very indie music. Liverpool likes its hard style a lot more than Manchester.
Right.
But they are extremely indie music based. But it's just full, with student clubs. Full to the brim. Like student, they all do the same thing. You know, Just one has a nicer venue than the other, so they class themselves as luxury.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. I want to bring the big artists to Manchester on a weekly basis, you know? Different genre every week, you know, one day liquid house, tech house, hard style, big room, you know, tropical. I mean, yeah, tropical, why not? Themed Hawaii night. But that's what I want to do because that's what it's missed. Because once you've been to one student night, you've been to them all.
Mm.
You know? And I'm a strong believer in that 16 plus event I went to. A lot of fans, for example, if you take Don Diablo, a lot of his fans are underage. They're not old enough to be able to go to one of his events.
Mm.
Now, many people may say, definitely people of age will say no to this. But I don't see it. I would happily throw a couple, maybe 2-3 events a year for the 16 plus. Now, not financially as a thing, as not of the financial situation, but to get them into the scene, you know, and get them listening to the big DJs and listening to, because like for me with hardstyle, never listened to it before until I saw that, and I absolutely loved it. So if I could take people away from the mainstream chart stuff, and so I'm sure there's a whole new world of 5 million genres, you know, I will happily do that. That's the way I see it.
Essentially, what you'd be doing by doing them is just planting that little seed. Just there you go. There you go. It's there. It's waiting for you.
Yeah, because all it would take is, you know, one guy that doesn't want to go out, but his friends bully him to this Timeless Harmony event, and there's a liquid drum and bass dude on, and they're just like, I'm gonna hate this, but goes and absolutely in love with it. And then he goes home and adds a liquid and a Netski track to his playlist, and then he's hooked. And then you might have a potential Somalian customer, you know, you might have a Creamfields customer, you know, it's just adding to the scene, as you say, planting that seed.
This is what I want to see more out of promoters and you know people in general that hold events and nights out, is them really pushing for whatever they believe in. For yourself, obviously, it's hardstyle and you know big room EDM, but I don't even mind if you know. Say, for example, let's just take the other side, like rock music, for example, if there's more promoters out there. I want to see the UK nightlife go back to the way it was, in the sense that people go out to see someone. They go out not because they want to get hammered, but they go out, they get hammered in the process. That's fine. But I want to see the UK go back to the way it used to be, where people are going out because they want to go and see an artist and they want to you know, create some memories, because that 100%, and I think everyone will agree, including yourself, those are the best nights. The memories that you last forever, they're 10 times better than just going on the piss with your mates on a Friday night and then, you know.
Yeah, I remember I've done shows at Ministry of Sound a handful of times now. I've never actually been as a raver. I've always ended up working the show. And I remember one show, I looked in the crowd and I was like, everyone's just on their phone, like talking like you would in a club. I was like, you know who the fuck is on stage right now? I was like, I'd be right at that front me with a fan flag just going. And I'm just looking at him in the crowd going, you know, if I was to take this a 40-minute flight over to the Netherlands or over to Asia, I'd be fighting them off stage, you know? It was
Yeah.
I was literally just sat there going, what the fuck? I was like, the stage is this way.
From a promoter, well, no, I mean, from a promoter's point of view, if, like you say, when you know the events are going again, what would you? I mean, do you have an opinion on everyone having their phones out?
You know what? I remember I was at an event I was working. I wasn't actually behind the stage. I was actually in the tech booth. Because one thing you'll notice, for example, at the big festivals, what they'll actually do before the next big DJ comes on is there's a way of testing the other artist's visuals while the other DJ is performing.
Okay.
So it's a very complex, and I was there testing. And I looked up for a second actually to see the LED screens. And every fucker was just like this, watching it through their phone to see like it's not there, you know, that they're watching it like it's a clearer image, which for most people that may have been the case depending on their state. But but I was just sat there going, oh, this is so depressing. And then I went to a Defected event on like New Year's Day one year, and I took my phone out to take a picture. And and the event was full of the old true ravers, you know. And then some dude came up to me and was like, "Put the phone away. We don't have phones here." I looked at him. I was like, "Okay, Jesus, you know, that's not good."
See, this is it. I don't think there's too much harm in it, because obviously it's fantastic now that we are able to get a piece of, you know, an event so we can remember it for a lifetime. You know, our parents didn't have that luxury. We now do. But I think that's the problem, is when you constantly using it, it isn't a luxury anymore. And it seems pretty pointless to me. I think a good rule to go off of is, say you're at an event and you want to go see an artist and he's an hour-long set. I'd say take 5 minutes spread out over the hour to sort of get clips of maybe your favorite songs here and there, but no more than 5 minutes. I know what you mean. I've been in ministry and other places countless times where people watch the whole set through their phone. I'm thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah. I'll always remember my best night ever at a festival was at Creamfields one year. My phone had died. The only picture of me from that night is of some guy coming up to me going, "You're this person, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he takes a picture with me and sends it me on Facebook the next day. That's the only photo from that night. But I will still put it as the best night of my life. Like, when it comes to people run their own minds, but it was the best night of my life. And, you know, that's the only picture that exists from but I still remember it like it was yesterday in my head the whole night. So that's what I think. Yeah.
Who's your biggest inspiration
In the music world?
It could, both. Let's say both, if you've got someone outside the music world as well.
Music world, I would say, oh, that's a hard one. I would say Pascal. He is the owner of Insomniac. He's just, I met him. He's just a down to earth guy, and he just doesn't let anyone say no to him. He creates what he has in his head. You know, he goes, "Wouldn't a 50-foot owl with a fucking unicorn horn on their head look good?" And his entire team just go, "Yeah." And they build it, you know, and they just build it and they just do that. And all his events and everything he's created, you know, I was at EDC for 4 days. I did, and many of it I was working, but I took some time just to walk around the festival. And I was just blown away. The festival is so big. I think it's the biggest festival. In terms of size and like walking about space, I think it's one of the biggest in the world. And I was just walking about, and there's so much going on. There's stages on cars going about the place. There's dancing performers. There's lights. There's like just so much. Like this, it's just like being at Disneyland for adults. That place, you know, and even the camping, like the camping has like a full, like 4 pools, water slides, like a stage. It was like 9 a.m. in the morning, and Fisher was performing on the poolside stage. I've not even gone to bed yet, and all I hear is I'm losing it, and I'm just there in the tour bus going, Wow. And that's, you know, I just wish, and I just saw that, and I was like, I'm not going home. I'm not going home. So he is my biggest inspiration. That is what I just would love to take a chunk of his knowledge and just plunk it in my brain and just go, I just want to bring that to the UK.
What that guy's created, it's fascinating. And as you said, I mean, I can only imagine walking around that place. That's like a dream to go there one day. But to me, looking from the outside, it just looks like one big art piece with all these different arms, and it's like a tree almost with all these different branches, and it's just gorgeous.
There was a bar called the Dwarfs Bar. You walked in, it was literally a bunch of dwarfs serving you alcohol. And if just say you're tripping, you know, that is
Jesus,
that's not a good place to be. But that is but it's just little things like that that make it memorable. You know, it's and they have like so many cool places, and it's just I just wish sometimes some of the UK festivals would just take a book page out of the Tomorrowland, the Ultra, you know. They do it so well, and the people in America, especially at the festivals, are so friendly. I remember I was just sat outside the toilets waiting for a friend. I was like, I'm going to use this time to sit down because it's on concrete floor. You're not going to sit down and sit in mud or anything else like you do at Greenfields. And I had about 5 people come up to me like, "Are you okay? Do you want water? Do you want this? Do you want me to take you to the medical tent?" And then at Greenfields, I'm just like, you know what? If someone asked me that, I'd be asking them if they're on drugs.
The nicest thing you'll get there is a beer poured over your head.
Yeah, that's pretty much that.
Here's another thing I want to ask you, because obviously you've been around a lot of events and you've traveled pretty well. What is the craziest thing to date you've seen in the industry at an event? It could be something where you're just like, Jesus. Like it could be something mind-blowing that has happened at an event that is incredible, or it could be something where you're like, oh my God, look, I don't think that's safe or whatever. Obviously, you don't have to include names of people and whatnot, but just something that you went, oh my God. Something that would surprise people.
There's actually a lot more than you think. I'm trying to think of them. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the most fucked up one. I went to this event as a guest and as a friend, and the DJ invited me, and he was in the UK, and I got to the venue, and you know when you like just think, am I at the right place? and I saw this single bouncer standing outside the door, and I walk in, and I meet my friend, and he gets out the car, which it was an Uber. This is a big DJ, by the way. The promoter had got him an Uber from the hotel to the. He goes, is this the place? I was like, yeah. And he just looked at me. He was like, protect me. And I was like, tour manager mode turned on, even though I wasn't working. I was like, I'll just look after him. I go to the promoter. I'm like, okay, this person's here now. Where's the backstage? I am not kidding you when I say he led us outside of the venue and into a separate building. The building looked like it had been raided by the police the day before. Right? The door looked like it had been kicked in. Right? And he takes us to this green room, which is no bigger than like 3 meters by 2 meters, with one couch in, with the promoter's mates coming in stealing the beers from the back, and they're all there talking to him. They're all off their heads. They're all absolutely on everything known to man. I'm just there like, and I go, right, it's time to go on stage, and I walk into the building, and I walked in, and I was just like, nope. And I get into the stage, but I had to walk through the crowd, so I'm pushing these big guys out the way, which I should never normally have to do, and I'm pushing them out the wall, trying to grab him, take pictures of him. Massive the Kung Fu Panda that shit. Let go, no touchy. And I get into the stage, and the stage is just like raised up by a mirror, and the only way is a little hatch to get on it, but there's no door in the hatch really. It's just a little gap you walk through. And everyone's absolutely off their head. They're all gone. And I'm just, in my head, I'm thinking, never in my life want an event like this. One of my events, I would be ashamed if my event was like this, you know? close, shut down my company. You send in the health inspector, whatever, you know. And at that night, there was the people trying to get in the DJ booth, trying to speak to the DJ while he was performing. And he's like, let me speak to him. I'm looking at him like on my little 1 meter high. I'm looking at him like, are you taking the piss? I'm like, are you serious? Like, I'll just like, hold on a minute. Yeah, this guy wants to ask you what you had for breakfast. So, and then that was it. Then all of a sudden, there was a big bang at the front of the stage and there was just this dude constantly whacking his head on the front panel in front of the DJ booth. And me and the DJ just looked at each other. Do you know when you just can't picture this happening? And you look at each other, you just burst out laughing. And you just and he just whispers in my ear, he's just like, get me the fuck out of this place.
You can barely believe it.
And he gets off stage and everyone tries to grab him. I'm like, no photos, no fun. You know, I got to the door and I was like, run. I was like, but yeah, that was one of the worst. We've had people jump the barriers before. That's always a fun guessing game. Because you'll stand at the side of the stage and you'll be like, you'll be there like, you can always tell if someone's going to jump the fence. It's always the shirtless dude with the glasses on that does it. And he'll stand at the front of the barrier, he's looking left, he's looking right, he's looking for security on both ends. And when he thinks the time is right, he'll jump the barrier. And then you're there stood on the stage laughing at him. And then you'll see him get past security. And you're like, oh, fuck. And you're like, I'm the next line of security now.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And the amount of times I had to rugby tackle someone once, that was fun. Just grab, bear hug, hold. Because the reason we do that is you don't know if that person's got a knife. You don't know if they want to harm the DJ. And it's just, yeah, there's some mad stuff that happens which you don't expect.
What is one thing you would tell your younger self that started Kingdom events that you would want to know back then, what you do know now?
Younger self. What would I tell my younger self?
Josh, I want to tell you now, 3 years ago, Josh, watch out for this crazy person. Watch out for this obstacle. It's going to be a nightmare.
Stay away from chicken korma. It don't do well in your system. There you go. What would I change? Oh shit! I would pretty much just tell myself I would probably just be like, don't listen to what anyone has to say, and if you're thinking you can go bigger, the event's already too small.
Yeah.
And also worry about money later. Worry about money.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. It's nice to get advice sometimes.
Yeah.
I want to play a quick game with you before we finish up.
Yeah.
There's a couple games that I usually play with people, but obviously you're mainly known for your hard style, or you're involved.
Oh no.
You're involved. What?
Oh no. That meetings now. Why do I have a feeling you're going to tell me to guess hard style songs?
No. What track?
Please don't play my own art.
Released in 2017 September.
I'll be like, what's that extra?
Nah. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna call out a subgenre, and I literally just want you to say the first word that comes to mind. You can say a couple of words or elaborate if you feel you need to. But yeah, this is always sort of a good barometer of getting understanding of how people see the subgenres in the scene. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. First one is progressive house.
All right. All right. That's how I'm gonna word it. Yeah, I either love it or I hate it. There you go.
You're not one of these guys that tears up at a third party gig?
No.
I am.
No, definitely not.
Deep
Next
house.
one, Deep House. All right, I'll give it a. It's a very one. I could happily listen to it while working away.
Big room.
Heaven,
Hardstyle.
the creation of God. No, God created hardstyle on the 8th day when he was hungover from the rest day.
Trance.
Beautiful.
Psytrance.
Prance on crack. No,
Oh man. Bass house.
16-year-olds at Park Life.
You're really going to annoy some people.
Yeah.
Techno.
Great genre.
Dubstep.
It was, I can't say it was a great genre. Well, you don't see much dubstep nowadays.
Not here.
It was a great genre in its prime. You can't beat Skrillex. Pretty much created his own genre of music. So hats off to that.
Drum and bass.
Beautiful.
Trap.
Are we talk? Shit.
Happy hardcore.
Hard style on crack.
You're really going to put some people off coming to your events. No happy hardcore events anytime soon then.
No, I actually am a big fan of happy hardcore. I always feel like happy hardcore is just like raw style with just like the pitch and the tempo pumped up a little bit, and it's just that's what I feel like it is. But I love it. I'm a big fan of like Darren Styles and Dougal and Tweakercore, and I'm actually a big fan of that's just what came to mind.
Oh man, tropical house.
You're in the pub at 2 p.m. listening to Kygo Sexual Healing remix. Next thing you know, it's 9 p.m. and you're on your garden with a sunburn. Yeah.
Oh man, groove/funk.
Beautiful. Just makes you want to dance.
And finally, future bass.
I don't think I've ever. It's Future House is Don Diablo. Hold on a minute. Let me. We'll be back after this short break. Let me.
Whilst he's looking for that, I'd like for people when we play this game, I want people to be able to make their own list of these and then DM me them, because I'd be interested to see what other people think.
Oh, I've listened. It's like the non-copyright free music you put on your YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's copyright free. That's what I'm calling it.
Oh man, sweet, perfect. Well, thank you for playing the game and thank you for chatting to me today.
No problem, mate.
Tell the people what to expect in 2021 from Kingdom.
From Kingdom, 2021. Can we skip to 2022?
Can do.
Best way to describe it is we have ideas and we have things that will just blow you away. We've got tens of events ready to go at a gunfire, and we're just going to blow you away with what we've got in mind. And I just hope you'll come from our events and want to come to more, because you're not gonna see anything like it.
Fully. I'll also put in the in the description of the video the link for the tickets for the event that's coming up, the Mike Williams event. There's me, Yeti, Owen Norton, and Sway playing it. So get your tickets.
And the headliner, Mike Williams.
I said him first, didn't I?
No, you said
Mike Williams.
Did you? I thought you said you, Yeti.
Mike Williams.
Sway. Here we go. Just keep saying the name. You know, let's get that algorithm going.
But yeah, get on the tickets. It's going to be a wicked night. I mean, I can't wait for it, especially with it being Freshers Week. It's going to be mental. I've got a lot of people coming over from down here, so yeah.
I'm just
show
gonna.
them how Liverpool does it.
I'm just going to be throwing like condoms into the crowd. And instead of water, I'm just going to be like, oh, it's been a long week. I need bed. Oh, but I got this meeting.
Right, sweet. Thank you for chatting to me, mate. I really appreciate it.
No problem, mate.
Nice one.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, you take care, man.
Yeah,